Hi, I'm Ken Candelas, and welcome to another episode of Metal Mastermind. I want to talk to you a little bit about something that I felt needed a little bit of a impromptu video making. Now, today, I thought that this would be an important topic to talk about because I feel as though, sometimes maybe people aren't getting the right message. And as an instructor who teaches audio education and music education, I try to instill in my students a sense of responsibility. And sometimes, more often than I'd like to admit, they prove me many times wrong of how they're taking that information. And I think it has a lot to do with just how we approach our own situations in life. And I want to take a moment to reflect about that, because as you are growing, and especially as a musician who's in this industry, especially for metal and rock, which is a very demanding technical industry. Let's just be real about that. Probably metal and rock are probably one of the most hardest genres that you could probably do for any type of live production, studio production, mixing, mastering. I mean, there's so much involved in our genre, and it can be unfortunate when you work and you strive for something, and then let's say you rely on somebody to do something and it doesn't happen. And this is something I really want to harp on about, because it really doesn't matter how special your talents are in this industry. It's all about, are you dependable? Can someone, rely on you? Can somebody trust you with something that's really important? And perhaps maybe it can even be something very vulnerable to you. I think making music is a very vulnerable action, and opening yourself up to the creative aspect and even critique takes a lot of guts. So in many different phases of my career, I've experienced people letting me down all the time, but this is really just a reminder that even though you might be on a path towards something that maybe you are extremely passionate about, understand that many people around your inner circle, your outer circle, the world, they're not going to truly understand what makes you so passionate about what you do. There are people, of course, like-minded musicians and producers and all that stuff that understand the passion about doing what we're doing, but there's more to it than just passion. There's responsibility. And as you become more, let's just call it famous, because whatever you're doing, at some point, you are exercising your fame. You are communicating to people about something that you want to present, and that's going to give you attention. With that attention comes this responsibility of what you say and what you do and what you mean and how you do it. Those types of situations make or break artists all the time. And you see it time and time again. A lot of people will ask, virality, for example, right? Going viral. Is that a good thing? Well, sure, it can be kind of. Maybe. It depends where you're at and how ready you are for something like that. If you're not ready to acquire all of the information about who's following you so that you can continue your business, you're set to fail. You're not allowing your sails to capture the wind, right? If we're putting it in an analogy. So when is it right for you to open those sails? When do you leverage your notoriety? When do you use the power that gives you this responsibility? right? I mean, we all love that great Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility, and it echoes so true, right? It's almost as true as a parable. So these kinds of situations, I want to stress that if you are not keeping in mind your reputation as you move through this industry, you are in for a surprise. You need to really, really consider how you treat people, how you communicate, how you present yourself, how you wish to spread your message. Like, what are you about? Why should someone follow you? And it doesn't have to be because, have this X degree or that degree or this type of this or type of that. It could just be life experience. It could be relational. It could be so many reasons, right? What makes you special, and what is that responsibility look like? If you're going after this as a hobbyist looking to become a professional, right? Or you take your hobby extremely seriously as if it was a profession, then this is the right place for you. This is a place where I, as an instructor of many students in New York City, a lot of you know this, but for those of you who don't, I teach professionally as an educator for audio technology all around New York City. I've been in about 4 different universities at this point. And the experience that I've gotten from my students has shown me that when things get tough, some students rise to the occasion and they do even better. Some students break, they crack, right? Without that moment of resistance to push you into an opportunity for you to excel and prove yourself, that not even just for the event, but to you, to build the confidence to know that you can do it. That's what it's about, right? It's breaking the barriers of what you think are your limitations. And when you do that, you inspire other people to do the same. And when you inspire other people, people tend to follow you. So, why do you do what you do? Is it for very selfish reasons? Is it for selfless reasons? What is this about? How can somebody learn from you and pass on the good word? I believe in that. I believe in spreading the information. I grew up in an industry, even into, I was born in 1992, so I am 33 years old today. But going into this industry as a 90s kid, oh man, I felt like everybody knew everything about everything. And I, as a student, was incredibly intimidated. I was incredibly intimidated, and I put myself into 5 internships, all of different types of audio and everything. It was broadcast, mixing, recording, mastering, and post-production. So, and I didn't even mention live sound, but that turned into a job. So 5, 6 different types of internships of me figuring out, like, am I good enough? Because that's what a lot of this was. Growing up, I was always a very creative person, but I didn't have an enormous amount of confidence about myself and about my creations until I started to really practice public speaking and meeting people through acts of, funny enough, it was actually an MLM. I won't even name it, but it was actually a good experience for me only because it allowed me to get out of my shell. And it got me in a way for thinking about things differently in a positive way. So, despite the fact that it was an MLM. Here's the thing though, right? That wasn't enough for me. I was talking better to myself, but I would always say that I still could do more. I could still learn more, and I could still always strive for more. For those of you who know me personally, you probably are already very familiar about all of this and how anal I can be about my own projects. I mean, I went to the moon and back trying to make Homeric: The Circle of Dead Children. It took me 10 years to make that album because I was striving for so much excellence. And of course, there was a couple setbacks along the way. But that kind of drive, right? It kept me going, but it was an unhealthy relationship with my career because my drive was also tied to the success of the gigs that I would get. And I would keep getting better gigs. And then, I worked eventually on Good Morning America. That was a great time. A lot of experience working on that. We did everybody from like Seal to Avril Lavigne. There was a bunch of people that would come onto the show. I mean, this is AAA when it comes to broadcast. When the pandemic hit, all that stopped. And I had to really reflect about what I was doing. Because I started to notice that as I was doing this and I was beginning to inspire other people, I was still not doing the thing that I really cared about, which of course for me was my music. All that time, me trying to figure out whether I'm a good enough engineer to do anything, it eventually still circled around me coming home to art and creating a world, something that was very much in my childhood. I used to play with Lego Bionicles and create little movies out of those action figures. I would do stop motion animation with stuffed animals when I was like a really young kid. It was something that was always innate in me to do, to film or to create music or to create video games or just worlds, just ideas, and be a creative vessel. And as I grew, I figured out in some ways that kind of creative force was very inspirational for people. And it was inspirational enough for me to communicate what to do and how to guide somebody into this industry for the 21st century. The 21st century musician or artist or independent, company that you want to do, whatever it is that you're doing here, right? We're fundamentally changing so much of how we used to do things that it's kind of like the Wild West in many ways. And we are back in those days of Manifest Destiny, or even a little further down the road where we already have railroads and all this stuff and steam engines rolling around. So this industrial revolution, or digital revolution in this case, is showing us a new frontier that, as far as education goes, hasn't really been tapped into quite as much before. So education in the 21st century, what does that look like? Here's the thing. As an instructor and a professor, there are certain things that I do appreciate about college. There are also some things I don't appreciate about it. For one, the bureaucracy is unreal. You can barely get anything done in departments because there's so many layers, and this has to be unionized with this and that. And they're there for reasons, but in some ways it's very inefficient. So it takes a long time for things to get done, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are going to be in those classrooms paying for all of this. What about taking that idea of having a classroom, but doing it on your own terms, right? Going to a class when you are ready to take that class, or being able to address something just specific that you want, or being able to review the material and say, well, I really liked what this class was about, but I want to practice this on my own time. Where do I get the materials? And who do I trust, right? Because am I just going to watch YouTubers all day and just say, that's my source of education, YouTube University? No, let's not do that. Let's do something better. Something that is a structured, organized platform. Something that takes the ideas of creating something great, inspires you, and you do it in your own way. I like that. And that's what I want to talk about today. Today, I want to announce something that's really important in Metal Mastermind. Metal Mastermind has just created a new partnership. And that partnership is a company that has pushed the boundaries for rock and metal all over the internet for over a decade.
Hey everyone, what's up? Alex Nasler here, co-founder of Spectre Academy, instructor, producer, and touring musician. Learn songwriting, recording, mixing, even how to DIY a tour for your band from real working musicians and producers who've actually done it. That's exactly what we're offering right now with the new Spectre Academy All Access Pass. And this isn't just Spectre Academy courses and instructors that you already know and love. We've partnered up with Ken Candelas and Metal Mastermind, who's not just a working producer, he's also a university professor teaching music and audio production at colleges across New York. That means you're learning from someone who doesn't just talk about production, he teaches it at the highest level, both in the classroom and in the studio.
Alex Nasla and I have been discussing this for a couple months now, and we've been under the hood working at something really, really special. Now, for those of you who are already a part of Metal Mastermind, you already know what Metal Mastermind can do for you. Metal Mastermind has great, great content for people who really, really want to learn and do it their own way and create their own sound. That's what we're about. Let's make this even bigger and better than before. And today is our official announcement partnering with Spectre Digital on this frontier. So you will find Spectre Digital and SpectreAcademy.net to host all of our Metal Mastermind courses. And we've put together a new package that's even better than before. Now, the All Access Pass is there so that you can access, just like we have in the Inner Circle at Metal Mastermind, all the courses on Spectre Academy. We're going to do exclusive live streams for members only, weekly. You're going to get at least one masterclass and 3 micro lessons every month. We're going to do things like competitions. We're going to allow you to also play a part in a little bit of the governance of your own education, where you can vote for things that you want to have happen. We're going to also allow you to have downloadables so that you can review the content that's given to you, and you're going to be able to join the Spectre Academy community, where you're going to have a ton of support. This is a really exciting time for Metal Mastermind. And if you're already a part of the Inner Circle, don't worry. We're going to take care of you, and we're going to help you make this migration. This is going to be something that's going to change the face of what it means to be a metal and rock artist. We want to make a difference that establishes the dominance of independent music. That independent music doesn't have to suck. It can freaking rock, and it rocks harder than anything before. So if we're going to push the boundaries of metal and keep the spirit of metal alive, we have to, and I strongly urge you to think about this, we have to be a community about it. We have to support each other. We have to foster growth and collaboration. We want to be the center of that for you. Metal Mastermind and Spectre Digital are creating a platform for you guys to be able to do just that, where you can meet like-minded people, and it could be even on the same call. If you're on a live stream, you're going to be learning from guys like me, guys like Alex Nasla, and professionals around the industry who are going to be in rotation teaching these lessons. Not to mention, you're still going to get the perks that we already promised at Metal Mastermind, which is, of course, things like pro educational discounts on software and gear, up to even 70% off in some cases. And if you're going to be a part of all of that, I mean, you're going to get basically the tools you need, the education resources you need, and the community you need in order to grow. Does that sound good to you? Check it out, SpectreAcademy.net. You'll find all of what you need to know when it comes to the all access pass on any of the courses. Just click any course that you're interested in and you will find all the information there available to you, or click some of the links in the description below for a little shortcut. Okay? Comment, let us know what you think. We're excited. Are you excited about this next phase of Metal Mastermind? Let us know. Until then, create your own sound.